Picture this, a packed K-pop concert, thousands of fans screaming, and suddenly, demons start pouring out of the shadows. But instead of running, these pop stars grab microphones like weapons and start singing barriers into existence, literally using their voices to banish supernatural threats back to whatever nightmare realm they're called out of. That's K-pop demon hunters in a nutshell, and honestly, it's the most insane premise I've seen work this well in years. Am I immersed in K-pop culture? Not even close. Did this movie still absolutely bang? You bet it did. Here's the thing though, this might sound crazy considering I just called it amazing. This movie's biggest problem is that it's a movie at all, because what Sony Pictures Animation created here is a world so rich, characters so compelling, and a magic system so intricate that cramming it all into 90 minutes feels like trying to fit an entire season of television into a single episode. But before we dive into why this should have been a series, let me tell you exactly why this world had me hooked from minute one. The main plot sounds simple enough. A K-pop group who are secretly demon hunters using their singing voices to maintain something called the Horn Moon, a magical barrier that keeps demons at bay. That sounds so badass, and it's exactly the kind of simple story that everyone can get on board with. The magic system they created isn't just flashy nonsense, it's actually well thought out. The fight choreography doesn't feel sloppy but methodical, with each battle having real stakes and consequences. It has the flair of ancient mythology while staying grounded in action that makes complete sense. When Rumi, Mera, and Zoe start singing, you can see exactly how their voices create the protective barriers, how different harmonies produce different effects, and why the teamwork matters on a magical level. The animation quality is absolutely top tier too. The animation has been compared to Spider-Verse, and that comparison is spot on. The 2D aesthetics mixed with 3-dimensional techniques create something that mirrors Spider-Verse while never feeling like a carbon copy. The exaggerated facial expressions, the way the light and shadow represent the tone of each scene, every frame feels intentional and crafted. But here's the problem that keeps nagging at me throughout the entire runtime. All of this incredible world building gets rushed because there's simply not enough time to explore it, at least properly. And that's just the beginning of why this movie felt like it was fighting against its own format. Let's talk about the characters. Throughout the main cast, we dive into something genuinely interesting in terms of themes and what it offers for cinema. Rumi is half demon and has to battle with keeping the secret because she's terrified that people won't be able to accept her fully for who she is. That's a metaphor for identity, belonging, and self-acceptance that hits different when you really think about it. Mera is the black sheep of her family, searching for a place to go home and dealing with deep insecurity about where she fits in the world. Classic family vibes, but with real emotional weight. Zoe is a textbook people pleaser who clearly needs to learn to put herself before other people's needs. We've all known someone like Zoe, and watching her character arc would have been deeply satisfying. What seems like would be a simple plot for an anime actually has legs as a much deeper story. These aren't just idols fighting demons, they're friends, sisters, legends in the making. I cared about every single one of them. But we only literally focus on Rumi, and I mean literally. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I watched this movie thinking, man, I would have loved to know more about Mera and Zoe. Their character arcs get set up beautifully, then barely explored because there's no time. The antagonists suffer the same fate. You really only get to know Jinu's backstory, but the rest of the boy band villain group have zero personality. They're just what I assume are stereotypes of Korean boy bands, which feels like it's such a waste when you consider how much potential was there. Again, I love these characters, but I wanted so much more. And this character development issue leads us directly into the movie's biggest structural problem. Even when it comes to the ending, I love how this movie built everything up, but it finally reaches the climax. I was sitting there thinking, wait, did we skip a few parts? The speed of Rumi going from just in me to I accept all parts of myself happens literally in about a minute of screen time. That character development should take more. How Jinu's past actions get minimized and brushed aside gives off this overwhelming vibe of we need to get to the finish line as soon as possible. This isn't a problem with the story itself, it's a problem with the format. When you only have 90 minutes to work with, everything gets compressed. Character arcs that should breathe and develop naturally get squashed into rapid fire beats that feel unearned. Think about it, if this was a 6-episode series, episode 1 could focus entirely on establishing the world and Rumi's internal conflict. Episode 2 could have deep dives into Mera's family issues and how she found her place with the group. Episode 3 could explore Zoe's people-pleasing tendencies and what drives that behavior. Episode 4 and 5 could properly develop the antagonists, giving each member of the villain boy band actual personality and motivation. And episode 6 could be an epic finale where all these characters' arcs pay off in a way that feels more satisfying instead of rushed. But instead, we get all that crammed into an hour and a half, and it sometimes feels like it doesn't work. Which brings me to why this format problem isn't just disappointing, it's actually holding back what could have been something truly special. We could have had episodes exploring the Korean mythology that clearly inspired this world, the demon hierarchy, the ancient history of the Han Moon, how the secret war between music and darkness has been going on for centuries. Instead, all that rich lore gets mentioned in passing or shown in a quick flashback sequences. And speaking of sequences, the action here is insane. Like, bro, in a series format, each battle could build up to the last. We could see the girls learning new techniques, developing their harmonies, growing stronger as both individuals and as a team. The movie gives us a glimpse of this progression, but we never have enough time to really appreciate that journey. K-pop Demon Hunters represent something genuinely special in animation. It's bringing Korean culture to mainstream Western audiences in a way that feels authentic and respectful, not like a cultural tourism. The film shows Korea in a way that's never really been seen on screen before, and that kind of representation matters. But when you compress that cultural exploration into movie length, you lose so much nuance. Don't get me wrong, K-pop Demon Hunters is still an amazing movie. The world is incredible, the animation is top tier, the music absolutely slaps, and even with its pacing issues, it manages to tell a story that's both entertaining and meaningful. But watching it, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was seeing a glimpse of something that could have been truly more special. This wasn't just a good movie, it was a great series trapped in movie format. The characters deserve more development time, the world deserved deeper exploration. The themes of identity, belonging, and cultural representation deserve more time to breathe and resonate. And the audience deserves the chance to really fall in love with these characters over multiple episodes instead of having to rush through their stories. Maybe someday we'll get a K-pop Demon Hunter series. Maybe the success of the movie will convince someone that the world is worth revisiting with the format it actually needs. Until then, we have this beautiful, yet frustrating glimpse of what could have been. But here's what gives me hope. The fact that this movie works as well as it does, even with its format limitation, proves how strong the foundation is. When you can create something that's compelling in 90 minutes, imagine what you could do with 6 hours. That's the real magic of K-pop Demon Hunters. Not just the music or the demons or the incredible animation, but the proof that there are still stories out there that are waiting to be told in a format they deserve. We just have to be brave enough to let them.